flu season may be off to a slow start, but experts agree that's no excuse to not get vaccinated. Many people think of flu, or influenza, as a seasonal nuisance that causes sore throat, runny nose, and body aches. The flu is a potentially serious respiratory illness that's highly contagious and very unpredictable. That's why the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention urges everyone 6 months of age and older to get a flu vaccine. The season is off to a slow start with minimal activity across the country, but a lot of times, we don't see the peak of flu activity until after the holidays, said Catherine Troisi, Ph.D., an infectious disease epidemiologist at the University of Texas School of Public Health. What we refer to as flu season typically starts as early as October and can last until May. As of November 2, the CDC has reported local flu outbreaks in just 4 states, Virginia, South Carolina, Texas and Mississippi, and broader regional activity only in Alabama and Alaska. By comparison, last year's flu season started 4 weeks early, with a rise in flu-related hospitalizations beginning in mid-December. The 2011-2012 season, on the other hand, was mild throughout. You can't predict how bad or how mild it's going to be in any given season, said Alicene Wyman, MD, an infectious diseases specialist at Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit. The viruses continue to mutate and change every year, and you can only tell in retrospect how bad or mild it was. According to the CDC, flu-related deaths in the United States ranged from a low of 3,000 to as high as 49,000 between the years 1976 and 2007. While most cases are mild, some people are at a higher risk of developing flu complications, including very young children, adults 65 years of age and older, pregnant women, and people with medical conditions such as heart or lung disease and asthma. There are preventive steps you can take to reduce your risk of getting or spreading the flu. Wash your hands often, avoid touching your nose, mouth or eyes, disinfect surfaces, and avoid contact with people if you or they are already sick. Still, the best protection against the flu is vaccination. Different types of flu circulate in communities at different times, which is why the vaccine is so vital. It protects against multiple types, said Nicole M. Bouvier, MD, an assistant professor in the Division of Infectious Diseases at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. It usually takes about 2 weeks from getting the shot for your body to form protective antibodies, so the sooner you get the vaccine the better. Even if the flu hasn't hit your community yet, it doesn't mean it won't in a few weeks, or even a few days. The flu is at its most contagious a day before the infected person has any symptoms, and it can be spread for about a week after symptoms develop. It spreads easily among large groups of people, like you'd find at work, school, or on public transportation. So the better protected an individual is, the better protected everyone is. A group of people with the vaccine provide herd immunity, said Dr. Wyman. Because more people are protected, there's less flu circulating and hopefully less people getting sick. People getting vaccinated have several options. There is the traditional trivalent vaccine, meant to protect against 3 kinds of flu, 2 influenza A viruses, and an influenza B virus. The trivalent vaccine is available in a high-dose version for those 65 and older, and is an intradermal shot injected into the skin rather than the muscle with a smaller needle. This season, there's also an egg-free variety for people with egg allergies, since the vaccine is typically made using a virus grown in eggs. A quadrivalent vaccine provides protection against 4 flu virus, 2 influenza A viruses and 2 influenza B viruses. It can be administered as a shot or as a nasal spray. Both the CDC and the Food and Drug Administration monitor the flu vaccine for safety issues. The most common side effects are soreness at the injection site, headache, fatigue, and muscle aches. If you haven't been vaccinated yet and have concerns, discuss them with your doctor. In most cases, the slight risk of a mild reaction to the vaccine is greatly outweighed by the consequences of coming down with the flu. In a big flu season where there's lots of illness and mortality, people are more riveted and more likely to consider getting a flu shot, said Wyman. In flu seasons where there are less scares, less people think about getting immunized. But this is a disease that affects a lot of people every year, that is potentially fatal. The single most important preventive measure is getting a vaccine.